So, Into the Open released about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago now, man. Looking back on it, what really stands out to you about that record? Because this is a group that's put together of a bunch of guys from different bands. So this is a little bit of different territory for you guys coming together and doing a side project. What stands out about it?
Exactly. Well, first of all, to us, that's a really important thing. It's not a side project at all, even though, of course, we are, busy with other bands as well. But this is something, we're in it for the long term here.
Okay.
And the thing is, what stands out is that it's something very unique and it's very different from the other bands we're playing, and I guess that's really important because that's the only way it makes sense to me. If we had done whatever, a Rhapsody clone or anything, that would have been stupid, because there is already a fantastic Rhapsody band I'm playing in, so that would have been pointless. And so what stands out to me is that I'd say the diversity of the band, the musical diversity.
Okay. Yeah, like you said, it would be pointless to have something that sounds like Rhapsody or Axis or the whole point of doing something different is because you have music within you that doesn't exactly fit the bands that you're in, so you go and you flex your muscles and flap your wings in another way. That way it doesn't come in and compromise the sound.
Exactly. It's like sometimes when singers when singers do solo projects and it sounds just like the band they're known for, right? I mean, that kind of stuff. I never got that. So no, of course, this is something completely different for us, sure. Exactly.
So tell me a little bit about how this really came together. How did 21 Octane, how did it come about? Because it's a very good band, very good record.
Thanks.
And I'm interested in knowing, the history and the beginning.
Okay. The history of the band goes back to 2008 when I was auditioning for the drummer spot in Axis. And that was the first time I met Marco. And immediately we knew we had a great musical and personal chemistry. And I remember a few days after the audition, when actually it wasn't clear whether or not I would be the new drummer, I already told him, regardless of the outcome of this audition, we have to do something together. We have to do a band together. And eventually I became the drummer of the band. So, we had this idea, and every now and then we would work on stuff, and then we got Andrew into it. Andrew, the bass player, is an old friend of mine, fantastic bass player. We played in some projects together a couple of years ago, and the three of us started jamming, same thing, it was great, so we knew this is it. And now, all that was missing was a singer, obviously. And but that was actually a funny thing, because at that point we were ready to look for a singer anywhere in the world, right? Because we knew it had to be, outstanding. The guy had to be outstanding. Because, that's what's, in the end, it's mostly about the singer, at least at first. If you hear a band,
Right.
The singer has to be outstanding. So we were ready to look anywhere. And then, it was Andrew actually who said, hey, how about the guy from Joe Perry? And we were like, what do you mean Joe Perry? You mean Aerosmith Joe Perry? You must be getting something wrong. Yeah, the guy. He lives right around the corner. And he does. He lives like 60 miles away from me.
Wow. And
I didn't know him, right? So we contacted him, and luckily he was up for it. And same thing. We got into the room together, the four of us, and it was just magic. And that was the birth of the band. That was, by the way, in 2010. When we finally had the lineup together.
Okay, so when you get the lineup together, you finalize that. Was it a plan from the very, very beginning to have this be a long-term project, or was it kind of let's get together, let's jam, and let's see how it goes, or was it from the beginning we want this to be a permanent thing?
Yeah, well, before you play together and everything, you don't really know yet how it's gonna be. So we wanted it to be a long-term thing, but of course, until we had our first jam or first 2 or 3 jams, you couldn't exactly tell, is that the thing or not? It's like dating a girl, Right. I mean, you have to have some time with somebody to know, is it the right thing or not? And so yeah, we wanted it to be a long-term thing, but we didn't know yet. But it was pretty soon we knew. Okay. This was the right thing to do. So it was pretty immediate, I would say.
Awesome. So at what point does the writing process start for what ended up as Into the Open and as the record and the full length? Was there any thoughts to maybe put out an EP or something shorter to begin with and then move into a full length, or how did that process happen?
Yeah, we were thinking about that, and but pretty soon we realized, no, we're going to do the full length record instead of putting out some EP or something, because the writing process came together so quickly, and we just had too much material that we felt strong about to even pick, whatever, 4 or 5 for an EP. So we thought, no, let's just go for it. Let's do the record. But the strange thing is, or the funny thing, no matter how you want to put it, we actually recorded a thing already in 2011, the whole thing, and then we decided to start over again because we didn't like the way it turned out the first time, just production-wise, And that's why it actually took so long. It took almost 4 years. And yeah, so that's the thing. We went in with a producer, and the thing about 21 Octane for us was it was supposed to be like a real organic band, a real rock thing. Mm-hmm. And what he did, it was too polished. It sounded great, but it sounded too polished.
Right.
And so we didn't like that, and we made the decision to do the whole thing over again, which was a crazy decision, but everybody's really glad in the band that we did it.
Awesome, yeah.
Maybe at some point you hear the first version of it, and then you realize what I mean. So yeah.
Yeah, there's a point where you want it to sound. Obviously, you want it to sound good, but there is a line where it gets to be overproduced and sounds too perfect. You with rock and metal, you want it to sound a little bit. There's that rough edge that you want it to have.
I'm 100% with you there. Yeah. I think that's missing with a lot of new records these days. Mm-hmm. They're just overproduced. Yeah. Because of course it's also too easy, to polish everything. Back in the day, let's say 20 years ago, the guys were just starting to record digitally, mm-hmm. But still, you couldn't fix everything. It was hard to fix everything. So I guess it went overboard, this whole mentality of fixing everything and Pro Tooling, everything to the detail. So yeah, I'm totally with you there. That's the same thing we were thinking. We don't want to sound like that.
Right. And now with Into the Open, there's so many different sounds on this record. You've got the metal sound with My Teddy Bear. You got Don't Turn Away has kind of that funky metal feel to it a little bit.
Yeah.
What was the sonical sound that you guys were really going for? Did it turn out kind of how you guys were wanting it to in the beginning, or was it when you sat down and listened to the final mix, was it like, wow, this is not what we thought it was going to end up as? This is cool. Like looking,
It's a good question again. Yeah. Well, the thing is, that's another cool thing actually. The way we wrote the whole record was like the classic way of doing it, like the guys used to do in the 70s, 80s. We really wrote it, in the rehearsal space, nice. Everything together as a band. And so we had a pretty clear idea how we wanted it to sound. We recorded everything with one of these little Zoom recorders our room.
Nice.
That's how we started doing the first demos. And so that was clear. That's the thing we wanted to capture, and that's why that first time around we didn't like it. So no, actually, we had this clear idea. Of course, really, in the end, we were pleasantly surprised at how close we got to that idea, because you always have an idea, but the question is how close do you get to that, right?
Right.
So yeah, definitely. Okay. We had this idea, and in the end, we were really happy with the result. Hagen did a great job producing this one.
Awesome. So moving on, yeah, outside of 21 Octane, obviously you're with Rhapsody, man. What can we look for anything going on with Rhapsody this year? Or is this year pretty much all 21 Octane?
Yeah, this year's going to be pretty much 21 Octane for me. We do have a couple shows, I guess, with Rhapsody. At least I'm aware of one festival, a big one we're playing in Europe. But Rhapsody's in writing mode. Luca's putting together the new record. Okay. And I'll lay down the drum tracks, I guess, before October. So I'm hoping actually to do them quite soon. so that we get to release earlier. But we'll see about this. But I don't see too much happening there this year. But Luca is the guy to ask for that. It's like he knows what's going on there more than I do.
Okay, awesome. So with 21 Octane, it's really full out this year with 21 Octane
absolutely, yeah.
Touring all over and all kinds of cool stuff. What can we look forward to now that the record is finally out? What can we look for from 21 Octane this year?
Well, at least we're touring Europe. That's for sure. We just confirmed, a tour supporting Uriah Heep.
Nice.
All classic rock band. It's going to be great because they're still packing, huge venues here in Europe. And this is a great chance for us to present the band to a larger audience. Concerning the States, there's nothing planned yet. Of course, we're burning to play the States.
Right.
I can't wait for it to happen, but there's, nothing I could talk about yet.
Right.
We're hoping to do it soon.
Right.
And same thing, the only thing that makes sense is a support tour, I guess, because we're a new band, so we need to support some bigger band.
Right. Alex, thank you so much for taking time tonight. I know it's late evening over there. It's almost 11, so awesome. Thank you so much for taking time. I greatly appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing everything happening with 21 Octane. The new album, Into the Open, out now. Pick it up, everybody. Alex, thank you so much.
Oh, Reggie, you're welcome. Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
It's very cool.
Absolutely,
all right.
Man. Have a great night.
Keep in touch, man.
Definitely.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.